Okay, so on the white paper, we're going to look at the side that has labeled the smallest square. Okay, this is our introduction to squares and square roots. Okay, Pythagorean theorem. So it says to label the smallest square A. So down here we have 3 squares. We're going to do the smallest one A. Okay. Label the largest C. And label the other square B. Let's see, where's my purple one? Okay. All right, if I asked you to find the side length of A, how many units would you tell me that?
3.
And how'd you get that?
Because there's 3 squares and then 3 on the bottom.
You literally count. It's 3. Okay? No matter where I count, it's 3. Okay? It's a square. Do I really need to put that these are all 3s? No, because you're smart enough to know that a square means they're all the same. Okay? So the side length of A is 3. What's the area of A? How'd y'all get that?
3 times 3.
What's another way to say 3 times 3? 3.
3 to the power of 3.
3 to the power 3.
3 to the power of 3.
Squared. 3 squared. Okay? So 3 times 3 is the same as 3 squared. You could also just literally count the number of boxes in there, but hopefully we don't need to do that at this point in our math career. Okay? All right, look at B. What's the side length of square B?
4 by 4.
And notice I always put a dot in there because it gets a little bit confusing if you don't. Okay? So what's the area? 16. And how did we get that? 4 squared. Yes. Okay, 4 squared. And then finally C is how long? 5. Okay, what is 5 squared? 25. Okay, so anytime you're given a side length, how can you find the area? Multiply. So side squared gives you area, right? You already knew that. Okay, so now let's look at our areas. Area A was what? 9. Area B is what?
16.
And area C. Okay, there is a special relationship between these numbers. Can anyone figure it out?
They're odd.
16's not odd.
Yeah.
Okay, they are all natural, but there's a relationship. Give you a hint. Look at your green Pythagorean theorem sheet and see if there's anything that helps you. Maybe look on the back
They're all
They're all 2.
and look at the Pythagorean theorem.
They can all be squared. They're all.
They are the same square.
Okay,
A and B equals C.
so I am hearing someone say the area of A plus the area of B is equal to what?
C.
Is that true? Does 9 plus 16 give me 25?
Oh.
Yes or no? Yes. Y'all know what 9 plus 16 is?
I'll take my finger.
People who are watching my video, they're smarter than that, I promise.
Oh.
9 plus 16 is 25. So is that a true statement? Yes. Another way to say that is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, so the area just means the side squared. So this is what is called the Pythagorean theorem. This is true for all right angles. What kind of angles?
Right.
Right. That might be a question on your quiz Friday. If you say left angles, I'm going to be very sad. It's true for all right
What
angles.
is a left angle?
I don't think there's even a such thing as a left angle.
Would it be negative 90?
I don't even know. I just made it up as an answer choice and hope no one falls for it. Okay, so if you have the area, if you have the side, you square it to get the area. What if I have the area? How can I get the side? You know this answer.
Subtract, right?
Subtract what?
Subtracting the. Yeah.
Okay, so if I know this is 16, how do you get the side? Divide by what? Okay, what's another way of saying divide by the side? So remember when we learned opposites and we said add and subtract are the opposite? And we said multiply and divide are the opposite? Well, square, the opposite is square root. And y'all knew that because we talked about area a lot in the beginning. Anytime you have the area to find the side, you square root. Okay? On the calculator, do y'all remember how to do that?
Yeah, isn't it
Yes.
second?
And then x squared.
Second, and then x squared. That is how you do it on a calculator. Second, and then x squared.
This isn't the same calculator.
I know, it'll take you a little bit of time to get used to it.
Blue one, second.
Okay? So if they give me the area, how do I find the side? Square root. Okay? So this is an inverse operation. We just didn't get this far yet. That's why we're just now learning it. Okay? If you need to find the side, you find the square root. Last thing we need to talk about is the hypotenuse. Okay? It's like the hippo up there on the board, that picture of the hippo on the triangle. Okay? What do you notice? Where is that hippo laying? Which side?
The inside.
The angle side. The long.
Okay, it's on the long side. So if it's on the longest side, anybody else tell me where else it's laying? There's one other distinction.
In the
It's
middle.
laying on the side that doesn't have any words.
In the middle of it.
Oh, it's right there.
It's in the base. The angle.
Which angle?
Right.
The right angle. So every single time you have a triangle, I want you to find your right angle, draw a line, and circle your hypotenuse. If you can figure out the hypotenuse, this is easy. The hardest part is finding the hypotenuse, okay? When you are given a random list of numbers, it is the biggest number, because sometimes they just give you 3 numbers and they say, can this make a right triangle? Okay? So the hypotenuse is either the long side, it's the angle that's across, the side that's across from the right angle, or it's the biggest number, and that's it. So if I gave you a triangle and I told you it was a right triangle and I said 5, 6, 8, which one would be the hypotenuse? 8, because it's the biggest number. Okay? Sometimes they try to trick you and they're like, okay, 12, 9, and 3. Which one's the hypotenuse? 12. So it's not always the last one. Okay? It's the biggest number. And then once you do that, it's super, super easy. So just make sure you know how to find the hypotenuse. Everybody okay? Easy? All right, let's look at the next page. We're going to kind of summarize what we just said and talk about a little bit more vocabulary. I still have people writing, so I'll give you a second while I take attendance.
One more question about the game. What time is it?
5.
What?
All right, everybody caught up now?
You can see the time on the board.
So what time is the game?
Just say what time's the game.
Oh,
Okay, on the back. In a right triangle, 2 sides adjacent to the right angle are called blank. Well, first of all, adjacent to the right angle. This is the right angle. What does adjacent mean?
Like right. Yeah. Yeah.
Next to.
Adjacent means they're next to. Okay? Next to the right angle. So it's the two angles that make a right angle. So like last year we talked about base and height make a right angle. Okay? Those are adjacent. These are called legs. On the quiz, if you put arms, I'm going to be very sad because that's a trick that I'm... Oh, and I just wrote arms. Legs. I know, but if you don't know it, you might be like, oh man, which one did she say? Okay, legs. The legs make the right angle.
Why are they called legs?
I'm not sure.
Will it be open note?
Hey Siri, why do you call legs on a triangle?
I think I've never used Siri in my life. She's unreliable.
She said one moment. She's having trouble connecting to the internet. Bella, I'll get back to you. Okay, so the side opposite the right angle. Opposite means across from the right angle. So you find your right angle, ladies. We find our right angle. And what do we call it?
Whatever.
Hypotenuse.
Yeah.
I almost said hypothesis.
Okay? Hypotenuse. This is always, always, always C, and I always, always want you to circle it. Okay? It's C, your hypotenuse. I am not sure.
I keep feeling like you're gonna say hypothesis.
No, we are not making educated guesses.
I didn't know that. Whatever. Yeah.
All right, everybody good? Okay, so the legs, it doesn't really matter which one you call which. It's A and B. It doesn't really matter. Okay, A can be the shorter, B can be the shorter, because we are adding. When you're adding, does the order matter?
No.
No, the order does not matter, so it doesn't matter. Just make sure you're picking one. Okay? All right, so it says the area, ladies, of a square built off of side A would be A times A, which is also what?
A squared.
A squared. Okay? B times B is called what? B square. Be there or B square. And the last one?
C squared.
C squared. Okay? Again, this is very repetitive because it's important that you know that. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. On the calculator, how do you square a number?
You use a little X and have like a little X2.
The x squared thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, remember, I always put it in a little box so you know that's the calculator. X squared. You can put 23 times 23, but the squared button works just as good. Okay?
Oh.
So X squared. And then finally, we've already noticed and discussed that the sum, what does sum mean?
Addition.
Yes. The sum of the areas is equal to, the sum of the big rectangle, square. Okay? Again, this is what gives us Pythagorean theorem. This is the whole theorem. Okay? On STAR, you will not have to have this memorized because it is on your formula chart. Okay? This is glued in on the very front of your, right here, additional information, Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You will not have to memorize that for STAR. Okay? Now, what kind of triangles does this work for? Right triangles only. Okay? It only works for right triangles. Okay?
Miss Davis.
Yes.
My brothers used to talk about A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and I had no idea what they're.
Same, my sister.
And now you can talk to them about it.
I'd be like,
My
but you're not
sister did this. I was like, why are there letters?
Okay, really quickly, we're going to practice a couple together. Okay? So in your journal, you glued in the green already. Okay, we can glue this in a minute. Just fold it over where there's white space. We're going to glue it right across from there, and then we're going to write on the back. Okay? So you should be writing on page 27. So don't glue in right now until we get these notes done. That way,
Where are we folding? Like,
where there's all this extra white at the bottom. Okay, just put it to the side and let's take these notes really quick. We're going to do a few examples before I get you started. All right, here we go. I'm going to give you 3 numbers, and I want you to tell me if it makes a right triangle. How do you know if it makes a right triangle? The formula. Okay? The formula has to be true in order for it to be a right triangle. All right, so the first one. Yes.
would this one be 25?
24. We can catch it up in a minute. We'll catch it. Let's get the notes done first.
24.
We'll get it caught up. But the back is 25. We'll catch it up in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if I gave you the number 6, 10, and 8, and I said, is this a right triangle? First thing I want you to do is to circle which number?
Biggest.
The biggest number, which is called the what?
What's it called?
Hypotenuse. Okay?
Oh, that's
Or you can put a C, whatever. Okay? So the first thing you do is pick one of the numbers to be A. Does it matter which one? No. Okay? So 6 squared is equal to what? What is 6 squared? Yes, 36. Okay? Plus, what is B squared?
60.
Guys, what is B?
B,
8. What is 8 squared?
64.
64. And then when I add it all together, hopefully it's going to equal C. What is C?
C,
10 squared, which equals 100. I'm doing different colors so you know. What are you confused about?
The answer has to be the equation, or we have to solve it?
Both.
I'm so confused.
Okay,
so
are
it's 6 squared. 6 times 2 equals 36. Just kidding, that's not it. That's not right. 6 times 6 equals 36. And then 8 times 8 equals 64. And then 10 times 10 equals 100.
Oh,
And
that makes
then just replaces A plus B equals C.
Okay, so now what is 36 plus 100? 36 plus 64. Okay, so does 100 equal 100? So that means this is a right triangle. Okay? There will be a lot of times where they just literally give you 3 numbers and they say, does it make a right triangle? Why or why not? Okay, let's try another one. Let's do 7, 8, 9. Okay, so A, well, first of all, what's my C? 9. Okay, so A is
42.
A is 7. 7 squared is 49.
Oh,
Okay. B is 8. That they got beat by the
8
Packers.
times 8 equals 64.
Okay, and then C is
9 power of 2.
9 squared, which is 81. What is 49 plus 64?
81, I'm guessing.
I don't
Listen
know.
to
81.
I can't do that.
Y'all better use your calculator if y'all think that's 81.
13.
113 equals 81. Yes or no?
No.
So this is not
Not.
a right triangle because that is not true. So it is not a right triangle. So that is one of the things you're going to do is literally square, square, add them, see if they equal the same. Is that hard?
This is not hard.
49 plus 64.
Oh, okay.
Why didn't we learn this first unit?
Because you got to know all the algebra stuff before. Okay, now
The first unit was so easy.
sometimes they're going to give you a picture. So draw this right triangle. I'm telling you it's a right triangle. Please stop talking. Okay. This is the hypotenuse. And the bottom is 12. And the side is 9. So now you're not given the hypotenuse, but you're going to use Pythagorean theorem to find the hypotenuse. So first is, we know what C is. It's the unknown. So pick A. What do you want to use for A?
9.
9. Okay. So 9 squared is what? 81. Okay. Plus B squared. What's B? 12 squared, which equals 144. And then finally, it's going to equal C squared. But I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to bring C squared down. Okay. So what's the first thing we have done so far?
Figure it out.
What's the only math we've done? Squared the what? The sides. Okay? Now, what do you think we should do next? This is an algebra problem because I'm solving for C. What should I do next? Combine like terms. What can I do with these numbers?
12.
What can I do with 81 and 144?
Add them together.
Add them. What is 81 plus 144?
225.
225 equals C squared. Okay? What do y'all think my last step should be?
Finding x. Write your equation.
Square root. Okay? Because it's squared, I want to do the opposite, which is square root, which is what? 15. And again, I said it here. Is 15 the biggest number? Yes. Okay? So this last step is to take the square root. All right? Let's do another triangle. I'm going to make this triangle face the other way.
Can I just make my face the same way?
Yes.
I'm not learning. I'm kind of copying down.
Yes.
So fast.
Same.
Okay, y'all just tell me and I'll slow down. I don't know, but I don't know if no one tells me. Don't be afraid to tell me. I haven't bitten anyone's head off, ever. You just gotta tell me.
Tell me Davis died. Davis is a witch.
I prefer Wiccan. Thank you.
What's a Wiccan?
It's a witch. I think it's a male witch, so I don't prefer that. Just kidding.
I thought it was a what?
I need to Google it, but I'll do that later.
Like the Hocus Pocus witch.
Okay, is everybody caught up?
Yeah, but they're ugly.
Yes? No? Maybe?
The one is
Almost.
the blonde one. Yeah. The blonde one.
Alright, so first thing I want to do, I know that this is opposite, because tomorrow we're going to have to figure out how to find the others. So today is easy because it's just going forward. Okay? So, I'm going to start with my A squared. Pick a leg. It doesn't really matter. What do you want to use as your A? 12. Okay? So 12 squared equals what?
12 equals 1.
12 times 12, which is 144. So I'm just writing the steps down that I did. First thing is I picked a side and I squared it. And that's all I've done so far. Okay? Plus
B squared.
B squared. What's my B?
16
And
squared.
it's 256.
Okay, and again, all that we did was put 16 squared. And you get 256. Is everybody okay?
Yes.
All right, last step. C squared, C squared, C squared. Okay? What do I get when I add?
400.
400. So 400 is not my answer. It is C squared,
And then you have to do the little
square root.
What do we split in the square root? 400?
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, second square root.
So we put square root 400.
Uh-huh. Yep. So again, those steps. Again, you don't have to write this if you're good, but we squared our sides. Then we added. And then we take the square root. That is our steps. That's all we're doing.
Why is
This
everything
is so easy.
Okay? Last one. Draw another square.
triangle?
Sorry, triangle. Yes. Their sides are 3 and 4. Try this one. Y'all want to try this by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. 3 and 4.
Why is that triangle smaller than all the other ones?
Because I'm running out of room. And it's 3 and 4. It has little numbers. It is okay if someone starts with 4 and you start with 3. So it's okay with you pick whatever as long as your math makes sense.
don't know what I just did. I don't remember what this is.
Hang on just a second.
So anytime you get something new, just push the second. Just right. Yeah. I think I have the answer.
I know. See.
Is your answer 2.5?
Wait, I'm
No.
done.
Oh wait, I got it. I
It's
just need to divide 20 square root of 25. It's 2.5, right?
Oh, yeah,
I just think wrong.
It's 5. I was just seeing if y'all were paying attention. It's 5.
There was no decimal left.
It's 5.
I think wrong.
Square root of 25.
It's 5.